Hi, everybody. Welcome to Time for Art. Thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to have you guys all back here again today. Today's Monday. Is it the last? No, we have one more day, don't we, for this month, for one more Monday, but it's one of our last Mondays. And like all Mondays, this is a journal day. So make sure you have your journals out. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need a pencil. You're going to need your graphite paper. We're going to be working with our vellum transfers. This will be a lot of fun today. I'll let Allison tell you a little bit more about that. But before we get into everything, don't forget our social media is one of the most important ways that we can grow this burgeoning artist community that we have, and it is growing, and we could not be more excited about it. So next month we're bringing on there'll be new faces and new names that you'll see inside the comments and the chat area. There'll also be new art posted to our subscriber group, and I'm going to put all the lists, like I always do, our social media links in the comments so you guys can have those there, and make sure you're sharing it with your friends and family. We want you guys to we want you guys to be able to get your art out to as many people as possible, because we're proud of it. I know you guys are proud of your own work as well. So two things: one, share those social media links as best you can, and two, we still have that promotion going for friends and family. So you get a 20% discount at checkout if you share the friends and family code, which is friends and family 20, which will also be in the comments. So don't forget about that. And just a little, I was looking today, we have 178 followers on our Facebook page, which I think is great. But we only have 155 likes. So I mean, some of you guys maybe haven't liked it yet. So make sure you're checking out, go like, subscribe, share, comment, do what you can do to interact with us on social media. It really helps us grow. So thank you for that. The one last thing before we get into what we're going to be doing today is the kits for next month for April will ship out on Wednesday. So if you do have anybody that's interested in joining our community of artists, please, please, please try to get them to sign up by Wednesday so that they don't miss out on April's, on the exciting box that's coming for April. So without further ado, let's say hello to our resident artist, Allison Crary, who's going to tell us all about surface design. Hi, Al.
How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
So good. And I'm so excited about this one because it is what inspired me to do surface design this month is the floral print. So if you've ever worn something floral and it's a print of some kind, then it's a floral print. And florals make for really good prints, and it doesn't have to be florals, but we have so many botanical florals and some other things this month. So we're gonna do some pattern design. So surface design is anything that repeats on a surface. It can be a random repeat. It can be a step and repeat. It can be a brick repeat. It can be a mirrored repeat. It can be combinations of that. But all of that is surface design. Funny enough, and like we've even said on this show before, that to try and make something random can be very difficult. We are not going to do a random repeat tonight. We will save that for a different month. I promise you, if you subscribe, you will get a chance to learn the random repeat. We are going to do a step and repeat. We are going to do a brick repeat, and we are going to do a mirrored repeat, and then how you can kind of mess those up. So the ones we're going to start with are these guys. And if you see, we included a border. You want to cut out at least one of these. I'm going to use the I messed it up when we practiced, and I messed it up again. The Black-Eyed Susan. That's what this is. So I'm going to use this one to demonstrate, but you can use any of them and they'll all work well. But you want to make sure that you keep the outline, and we are going to have our pencils out, and we are going to have our graphite paper out, and you need tape or one of the labels we sent you, or a piece of the labels we sent you. And I'm going to demonstrate painting one, but it doesn't really, you can have your paints out or not, kind of optional. And so I was
going to say, I was going to tell everyone at home that, like, even though we say it's a dry day, I always have my paints like within hand's reach, because I'm just so addicted to painting what I've just drawn.
We love to paint, and it's always a good idea to get your paints out. And I don't know, Hershey, did we do a roll call this time?
You know what? We haven't done a roll call. I'm looking to see who's here. We got Michelle and Melinda are watching.
Fantastic.
Ruth, I love, she wrote, hi artists to everybody in the group. Which I
Hi,
love.
Ruth.
Hi,
Welcome.
Ruth. We've got Lori and Caroline and Melinda and Michelle so far. That's everyone who said hello or commented in the comment section. And thank you for bringing that up, Alex. I want to tell everybody, if you are new and you're tuning in early because you're going to get the box that's coming next month, the way that we know you guys are here is by interacting with us in the comment section in our Facebook group. So don't be afraid to say hello. Chelsea's there. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey, Chelsea.
So,
hi, everybody.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right.
All right. So you're going to want to count one of these guys out. And I'm going to kind of, before we get started, just kind of explain sort of how it works while everybody kind of gets going. And so we're talking about something that repeats. Okay. And we're putting a little bit of method to the madness. So the first one we're probably going to do is just a repeat, right? So if something repeats, exactly if we put a margin between it. So this would be one way to repeat something over a surface.
Next to each other, right?
Next to each other, right. So we'd line this one up and then we'd repeat it again. And then we'd repeat it again, so on and so forth.
All right.
All right. The second one that we're going to show, which is probably the first one that we're going to do, is the step and repeat. So we're going to repeat it like it's steps. Okay, so we transfer this one and transfer this one below it and transfer this one below it. But come the second column, we're going to offset it exactly 50%. So it'll kind of climb up the page. And when you do that second offset, you can change it. You can flip it. You can flip it this way. You can add a butterfly. There's a lot of things you can do, right? So you can kind of mess with it, but that's a step and repeat. A brick repeat is where the offset lines up like bricks. So you don't offset it up, you offset it. So you don't offset it vertically, you offset it horizontally. And then another way to work is a mirrored repeat, where you mirror the image. And you can offset that in different ways.
Which we can do very easily because the vellum transfers are
because of the vellum transfers. Exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. All you need are one of these. And I included, I'll just talk a little bit about why I included some of these. I thought the artichoke would be a fun one for spring. And if again, it's not a floral, but it's a botanical, and a really simple one would be the raindrop. But it doesn't show like a mirror quite as well, which is why I'm not showing it. And then this is just a fun kind of stylized, maybe rose or poppy flower. And also would be a good choice, but we're going to go ahead and go with the black-eyed Susan. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get out our tape for a label. And
oh, you got some heavy duty tape.
Yeah. And we only need a little piece. Just like this. And I am going to, just for these purposes, because we're kind of just going to show sort of one off. So I'm going to start it kind of right here. All right. And the first thing I'm going to do are mark my corners. And this will be the step and repeat. So let's go ahead and label this. Step and repeat. And so if I fold this up, like let's change this. Let's do like a, because we're going to need to move it again and again. Just like that. So if we fold this up, we see where I marked off 4 corners. Can you see that? So I laid a little strong.
They are a little, yeah.
Let's do that. Let's not use that light. Okay, so I'm going to mark these off so everyone can see a little bit more strongly what that looks like. All right. I'm going to fold this guy back down. Like that. And I'm going to use a different piece of tape because this one doesn't like me.
I cannot find any tape of my own.
It happens.
Usually I got those things crawling all over, you know,
Oh, yeah.
they're in my way and now I can't find any.
So here we go. Tape this guy down. We are going to tuck our graphite paper, sticky side down into underneath here. And we're going to go ahead and transfer our flower, just the flower. Don't worry about the borders. Just like this. And so if you ever want to make something that you want to be fabric or wallpaper or something like that, there
Yeah.
are websites where you can print those. And the one I use is Spoon Flower. Some of my work is up there. And I've sold some of those.
Some of your work is there, some of your actual work.
You can search me as a designer and find me there. Okay, so if you see this, I'm gonna go ahead and move this. There is our flower and there are our four corners that are around our box. So I can line up now just underneath it. Same thing. Just like that. Tuck in our graphite paper. Transfer our black-eyed Susan. And there it is again. But I got to mark off my corners. And I'm going to go ahead and move this off the page.
So when you lay it back down, you set up the corners and then you're
Exactly.
good to go.
And you're good to go. And I'm going to go one more time because it's going to be whatever's kind of left over underneath here. Because that's what it would look like on a piece of fabric or a piece of wallpaper.
Right.
And I'll take it right off the page.
So the borders are not meant to be drawn necessarily.
Oh, they're just meant to guide you.
Got you.
All right, so we have 3 template transfers, all the same width, lined up exactly underneath. So if we wanted to, and we just wanted these to repeat, we could just line this back up again, and that would be our standard repeat, right?
Yeah.
So if I wanted to, I could line this back up again. And that can look very nice, right? No problem there. If that's what you're going for. Plenty of patterns repeat that way. That's not what we're going for today. We are going to offset this. So we're going to find kind of the middle of these two, which is about right here. Okay. And I'm going to line up my box just like this. And I'm measuring it from this point right here.
Which is the mark you made for the.
Which is the mark I made. So I'm taking my rectangle and I'm matching the middle of my rectangle. And for these purposes, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. You can measure this actually, but we're just kind of demonstrating how it works. Let's say this is the middle point. All right. And I'm lining it up with this mark right here. And I'm going to set my corners again. So I'm going to mark off my corners. And I'm going to tuck in my graphite paper. Go ahead and transfer. And this is why I picked really simple designs for this.
Thank you.
Really, really simple, but there's a reason we're going to use the black-eyed Susan, because it'll look different when we mirror it. And there you go.
And so this is done for anything that you see with patterns, right? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
it is. Yeah. And again, then I'll show you how you change it, right? But this is kind of the foundation for all the patterns you see. You're kind of looking at either a random repeat, a step and repeat, a brick, or a version of a mirrored repeat. But and if someone could find me a different one, we'll give it a try out here. But this is kind of how this goes. Okay, so just like how we lined all these up in the first column, we're going to line them up exactly the same in this column. So we've offset it here, and then it's just like the other one. Mark off your corners. In this case, we don't need to because I already marked it. This will go off the page. Tuck in our graphite paper.
And I want to know too, like how everyone's doing at home. Are you guys,
Yeah.
you guys get down? Let me know.
Tell us the questions you have.
Yeah. I love this, Allison. I'm having like, I can see how this could easily take up an entire canvas of, you know, that.
And then it's super cool. And then you can paint something in front of it, or you can just leave it, or, you know, I've framed pieces of fabric that I think are really beautiful before. So I'm going to line these up, but look, we're not on the top anymore. So you just grab another small piece of tape or label, and we're just going to anchor it some, you know, someplace else. So I'm lining it up here with our two like this. I'm going to do 2 hinges on this side so it doesn't move. Tuck in graphite paper. Transfer our flower. And there you have it. That's our pattern that goes off, goes right through my labeling of step and repeat. Oh,
I'm so excited to be learning this because I just bought some canvases that I had mailed to me.
Yeah.
They just came in the mail, and I was looking at one, and it's not very big, but it's bigger than what we're used to. And it's a little bit intimidating to see that big canvas.
Yeah. So put a pattern on it and then see what you want to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
So there we go. Here's our step and repeat. And it's just something I want to talk about a little bit about is if you want these to be further apart or wider apart, that's how you adjust your rectangle. Okay. So if you were like, okay, I want a bigger gap here, but I still want it to be narrow here. Okay. You make your rectangle around your image wider, but tight on top. Or if you just want everything to be further apart, you just have a bigger margin around your flower. So that's step and repeat. The next thing we're going to do is, can I get 3 in here? Doesn't really matter. Okay. Brick repeat. So I'm going to start this all the way over almost to the kind of teeth of my sketchbook. Our sketchbooks are a little different next month. We'll see how we like them. They're so they're really beautiful. And we'll see if we appreciate them as much as these spiral bound.
Yes. So Allison, where were you this weekend? You were in sunny Florida, is that right?
I was in Tampa and St. Petersburg, and I'm sure the average human knows this, but I didn't know that Tampa was so close to St. Petersburg. It's like the same place. Mark off our corners. and I was there for my cousin Andrew's wedding, and my cousin Heather is a subscriber. I don't know if she's on tonight, but this was her brother who got married.
Very cool.
We had a blast. The family hasn't seen each other in 2 years. We could not have been happier. Okay, so I marked off my corners and I started it way over here. And we are going to go ahead and transfer our flower again.
When you're making the vellum templates,
yes,
vellum is such a great versatile, material. What other materials have you seen the templates come in? Like if someone wanted to, let's say, make a template of their own so they could do this kind of a pattern, is vellum the way you would recommend that they go?
It's great because you can see through it and you can flip it over and all those things. I mean, if not, you can go on really cheap paper. You can see through it.
Yeah, right. It is great. And they're durable too. You can use them over and over and over.
Over and over again. Tracing paper works really nicely. Wax paper, if you have it, and maybe wax paper would be hard. Parchment paper that's not waxy. Okay. So I set up my first one. All right. Strong tissue paper. And instead of going down, we're just going to repeat to, in this instance, the right. So line this guy up. Repeat to the right. So if for one of the, like, let's say one of the reasons you are interested in art is to make pieces for home decor, which, I mean, to a certain extent, everything we make might end up in somebody's home. And you're kind of designing your room and you're like, what I really need is a pillow in these colors. And I'd like to make the pattern. It's a very attainable thing to do. You make the pattern.
I mean, not before a time for art, I'll tell you.
You can upload it to Spoonflower. It'll take you through it. All right. So I transferred my guy. I got to get my corners in so I can line it up again. Just like that. And we'll do one more.
You're getting like 2.5 across. Okay.
Yeah, we're just going to take it off the page to show our offset.
Yeah. That's a cool look.
I think so. So that's kind of like this. This way. Up. Here. And there we go. Now our offset is going to be kind of brick style. Okay, so just like we found the middle point or we found this point here, these 2 points here, or this point here, and aligned our piece right here, we're going to offset on this mark. Okay, so I'm going to find the middle of my rectangle here and have it offset just like that. Mark off.
So a step and repeat is offset going across the page horizontally, but they're all in a row vertically.
This stair steps up. This is more like a brick.
Like a checker, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you'll see how it looks when we're done. But so the brick, we align it like bricks. This we align it like steps. If you see like celebrities posing in front of something that says like,
is that what they call it, step and repeat? Because that's what they do with the logo.
The logo steps and repeats.
I never knew that. I thought it was literally like because they stepped, posed, and repeat. Step, pose, repeat. I literally thought that's why.
And that is what I would call art imitating life, Hershey. That is why it's called a step and repeat. So I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this. Mark off my corners if I didn't already. I don't know if I did or not. And that, yes, I did. So I've got my 4 corners marked off. We have our offset. So I'm going to move this guy. And then we line it up just like we did across here.
Yep.
But our offset's a little different. And then sometimes this is more interesting. Sometimes this is less interesting. And that's why you do something like this in your sketchbook.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I think that would be like one of the coolest things ever to be able to say that you, if someone compliments you on a pillow, say, or something like that, you'd be able to say, oh, I designed that fabric, or I made that fabric.
I just had someone buy a roll of wallpaper from me that I designed the pattern for. And it's this racehorse pattern. I'm gonna mark off my first. And yeah, I'm like, somewhere there's a wall with racehorses.
Oh yeah.
Running across it.
That's really neat.
That I designed.
The idea that we could design the patterns on wallpaper never even crossed my mind when we were even discussing Time for Art.
Well, and that's what it's really important to me about all of this is that we spend some time really learning kind of discipline drawing and painting. But we also just spend some time like taking a look at what's around us. And yeah, we can make that. Why not? And so that's what we're doing. So I'm going to line this up right here. Here's our.
I love the squares make it, the rectangles make everything so uniform across. Like they're all the same apart. It's like, you know, looks very professional, and I've got.
Sure does.
Yeah.
So this is one that I think the brick, just with the orientation of this flower, isn't as interesting as the step and repeat. Like they're kind of coming in at like a little bit of a diagonal sort of, but it's not as interesting as this is. But that is why you work something like this out on your sketchbook. Maybe say before you order a step and repeat from a customer like Spoonflower or from a format like Spoonflower. All right, go ahead. And
are the reasons why someone might choose the step and repeat or the brick pattern or what have you, are those purely aesthetics and taste, or is there like concrete reasons to choose one?
They're just different ways to repeat something.
Okay, so it's up to you.
You could also theoretically not like repeat at the 50% mark. You could repeat at like the 30% mark, right? So you could offset it every 2/3, or you could offset it every 3/4. These are just different ways to repeat something and see how it goes, see how you like it. But I would say traditionally it's done at the 50% mark.
Okay, cool. I want to share something with you. There's in the comment section from Lori, who's in Ohio. Is that right? Right? Is that
Lori is in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know why I keep forgetting that.
Carolyn is in Ohio. You.
That's right. Okay, gotcha.
All right.
Sorry, lady. Sorry, I didn't. But so Lori wrote, Allison, for the first time, I looked at a painting and wondered aloud what they painted first in some layering. I noticed that before, she says, and she says Frank was astounded. So
Frank
I think it's
was?
I think it's Lori's an artist.
Lori's an artist, and so is Frank. Frank can make anything.
That's awesome. I do the same thing, Lori, right? I mean, you're in good company here. I wonder sometimes what they did first, how they did this.
And I just want to stop and just show everybody, off of this center point right here with our offset, I lined up our 50% marks, and I'm transferring a flower. Frank can start with a tree and make a house. And I am not exaggerating even a little bit.
It's not a euphemism. It really happened.
Not even, it's happened. I've seen the pictures.
I like the ones that go a little bit off the page, you know?
Yeah.
It really implies something, I think.
And we have another cool thing because we're doing our diptych pieces for our final paintings this month. And I think it'd be very cool to continue the pattern over the 2 canvases.
Ooh, that is a good idea.
Yeah, that was part of I'm going to do that for my final painting. I don't know what it's going to be yet. So I'm going to transfer in these last 2, and then we'll do our mirror. And then we'll talk about ways you can disrupt. And do it with anything.
And you can even combine, I'm sure.
And that's where we're going next with it.
Of course it is.
And so a lot of people, because how these prints get made now and how things get submitted, this is done digitally.
Right.
But at the same time, it really helps to work something like this out in a sketchbook first, where you're like, oh, what I need to do is, before you spend all this time drawing something and like putting in like Photoshop settings and changing it and like, and then you know what you want.
Yeah, and you've got plenty of room to make all your mistakes, because in our monthly box, you get the journal to do it in, to see what you guys like and whatnot, and then you get everything else you need to make it this. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a lot of this, I think.
You're just gonna be repeating.
I love it. I love it.
What am I doing? I'm repeating. I'm a service designer.
Yeah, I'm doing a repeat, obviously. Yeah. It's a repeat.
Yeah. What do you mean you're repeating? Like, obviously, like, subscribe, figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Subscribe, join our artist community.
Yeah. All right. So I'm mangling our template here. So there's our repeat there. All right. So this is our brick. We'll write brick on top of this guy. I'm gonna go ahead and flip here. We're gonna switch to mirror. So same thing, but you mirror the image, and you can kind of do that at every juncture, right? So let's say we just want to mirror standard, right? All right. So okay. I'm gonna mark off all of this graphite that I'm exposing tape to. We're just gonna keep switching the tape here. So we've got our template that I've beaten to death. You see how?
And then your graphite paper.
The graphite paper that I've poked holes in at this point, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mark off my corners. And we're gonna transfer it. Just like this.
Is that, so the real name of that flower is the Black-Eyed Susan?
Black-Eyed Susan, to my knowledge, gardeners. Because this is dark, and this is usually kind of yellow.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know it. You're right. Okay, no.
Yeah. They're my favorite because they kind of point towards the sun. Like they're kind of conical in shape. One of my favorites. Who can pick a favorite flower? How ridiculous. Okay, so we made one. If we just want to, the standard one, because who wants to just repeat something that doesn't offset? We could just flip this guy just like this and mirror it. So let's try that. Mark off the corners.
A lot of retaping when you're mirroring.
A lot of retaping. A lot of actual like physical pressure on these templates.
Oh yeah, I actually secret I didn't want to say, but you mentioned it a couple times, is that I poked so many holes in my last template, vellum template, that I moved on to the little rose one because I can't.
You've switched.
I did. I had to.
Yeah. A Hershey's off the black eyed Susans. All right, so here we go. Look, now they kind of look like they're like kissing each other, like they're going in.
Okay. So professional.
All right. So we could keep doing this, right, in this direction. So this one would pick back up like this. Okay.
You're going to show us how to mirror in a different way?
Well, you can mirror it a few different ways, right? You can mirror it. So just standard, right? So you can just mirror all the way across. I'll get some of this.
So then every other one is exactly the same.
Right.
Got it.
All right. So we'll call this the standard mirror. Okay. So there we go. And then with the standard mirror, this one will repeat exactly as it is underneath. There's so much graphite on this poor template.
Chelsea wrote it in the comments. She was like, she admitted that her graphite template or her vellum template is destroyed as well. So
destroyed as well. You wrecked it. Congratulations.
Yeah, maybe that wouldn't happen. I think for mine in particular, it happened because I've the book, what my journal, when it gets close to the binding, it's uneven, but maybe that would happen on like a canvas.
Yeah, or also on our next books that don't have a binding, that are sewn shut. We'll see how that goes. So I'm just going to repeat this exactly as this is so you see how that looks.
So
like
Melinda, where is Melinda and Michelle? Where are you guys located? I keep forgetting. So.
Melinda is in the Chicago area.
Okay.
And so is Michelle. Both are.
You know what? I think I heard on the radio today that they're giving away free gas somewhere in Chicago. Have you heard that?
Where? No. Tell me where.
Some gas company is giving away like $1 million of free gas, and it's in $50 increments, I think, that they'll give you. And okay. They're giving it away until the $1 million runs out.
Well,
talk about a teaser. That's all I know. I heard it on the radio, and then yeah,
well,
I know.
Everybody. Yeah. Anyone knows any more about the free gas in Chicago that wants to share that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check our graphite paper underneath.
Oh, Melinda knew all about the free gas. She said it's Vernon Hills. It's a suburb of Chicago, she said. Free gas.
Awesome.
Thank you, Melinda. Thank you for knowing that right off the bat. That's awesome.
I love it that Hershey knew and then Melinda knew more. Like it was such a team effort.
Yeah, this is social media. This is the wave of the future.
All right, so here's our standard mirror. And as you can see, you get these kind of like, okay, should we have put something there? Still can.
Yeah. And you could have mirrored it again.
Oh, just you wait. Oh. So here's
Allison, she's like, no, wait, she lives in Vernon Hills. She's actually doesn't no idea where the free gas.
No idea where the free gas is. It's not in Vernon Hills, guys. We keep looking.
All right, I gotta find it.
I need to go see Melinda in Vernon Hills. I know she's got a really beautiful house there.
Oh, here we
All
go.
right.
It says a Chicago businessman announced his gas stations participating in a second free gas giveaway.
There was a first?
Yeah. Businessman Dr. Willie Wilson is back at it again, donating a total of $1 million in free gas to those struggling to afford the high prices in both Chicago and suburban Cook County. It begins 7 a.m. March 24th and goes until the $1 million is up. There's a 50 gas stations that'll be participating in this fuel up. And I'll put a link to this article so you guys can see where they're at.
Awesome.
Oh, that's so neat.
All right, so I'm kind of rushing to finish up our standard repeat. Our standard mirror. It's not a standard repeat, it's a standard mirror.
Right.
And it's like, maybe it doesn't need anything in the middle, but let's say you wanted to like repeat a bumblebee in the middle. Good, right? You could.
Yeah, you could.
You line it up with this mark. Or a polka dot or anything.
Chelsea had a question, which I think you're doing
Sure.
right now. I'm not sure. She said, do you ever have this pattern where you reverse it both horizontally and vertically, or is that
Yeah.
a whole different pattern?
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go.
You most definitely do, Chelsea. I like where your head's at. So, but I think it helps to do the whole page because then you really see what it looks like. It's like how you don't want to buy like carpet off of a 2x2 square. Like carpet's gonna go. Yeah,
Right.
yourself cut a nice piece of carpet and take it home and see what it looks like. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and check this guy in and go off the page. Just like that. And so this is our standard mirror, or our, yeah, standard, we'll call it mirror.
And the mirror is repeating horizontally.
Yes, yes, but that's kind of, or vertically, because you're right, you're not mirror. Excellent point, Hershey. If we wanted to mirror, we could have done it this way, as a horizontal standard mirror, and just kind of kept mirroring it that way. So we could have gone. Now, what if we wanted to mirror it with a step and repeat? Okay, so.
Whoa.
I mean,
I'm gonna do it with the water drop.
I would not suggest the water drop for mirrors.
You're right. Yeah.
Because it's symmetrical.
Right.
All right. So here we go. Mark off your corners.
Oh, while you guys are doing this and marking off your corners and whatnot, don't forget we have that template challenge. The last day to turn in your template challenge, which is drawing the babies, right? Right, there was the baby
animals.
Yep. So using the vellum templates to draw a baby animal, submit it to our subscriber group, which is in the comment section in the link to it. If you haven't already, if you're new to us and you want to join our subscriber group, that's where you'll do it. And that's where everybody uploads all their work they do throughout the week. So don't forget to upload your template challenge, which is a vellum transfer of a baby animal and its mother.
Anything and every, Hershey and I had a conversation last week if the frog was a baby, and I said yes.
Yes, frog works.
The frog works. All right, so for this purpose, okay, I am just going to keep this as kind of our constant, but theoretically you could flip this one, but for the sake of
the vellum transfer.
For the sake of just keeping it simple for what we're mirroring, we're going to call this a step and repeat. So we're going to keep this row constant, mirroring all the way down. A little off here. Oh, you're in time wise. Perfect. All right. Transfer this guy. All right, looking good. I feel like my I'm getting looser and looser with my
I can see through other parts of your vellum transfer too. I can see through it.
I wonder, what if we tried this? We have so much graphite on these guys.
Ooh, you don't even need to use it.
What if we just did an imprint? It kind of worked. Not well enough.
Yeah.
Maybe the reverse side would, because we haven't flipped it enough times.
We have.
All right. So now we line up our step and repeat, right? But we flip this guy over. All right, so this is kind of the middle right here for our step and repeat. Get a new piece of tape.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so I just flipped it. And so far, I think this is the most interesting pattern we've done. Some just are going to be more interesting than others. It's part of the fun of surface design. All right, so I'm going to mark these guys off. Go ahead and transfer this guy. And here you go. That's what this one looks like. So far, my favorite.
Yeah. It reminds me of like when you see geometric design tiles. So like start to make a you would never notice looking at one tile what the pattern is going to be on your floor.
Exactly. And then they go down and you're like, oh, there's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Right. Come this way.
When your sister Melissa did her floor in her room or her kitchen, I was like, I had no idea that that was all going to be there. All that design.
All that design. Well, you know, we made that template. We made that stencil.
No.
She has. I kid you not.
Yes.
He does not have 12-inch tiles. So we'll back this up. Melissa painted her floor, her tile floor. And she had, yeah, and it looks super cool. And she did not have 12-inch standard tiles. She had 13-inch tiles that we believe were the must have been a trend in 1988, are no longer a trend now. So if you wanted to paint a floor with a stencil in 2020, I think when she did it, you needed to make your own stencil that was 13 inches wide.
Yeah.
So
you did it.
It's the only floor like it.
That's right.
We should post a picture of that floor.
Lori had a clarifying question about the template challenge, so I just want to go over it for everybody real quick. Yes, Lori, you're exactly right. The template challenge is to use your vellum transfer, choose an animal grouping that you like. It could be the frog as well, and draw that in your draw it, paint it, sketch it, do whatever you want to do. It's up to you in your art journal, and then and like kind of use, you know, we were thinking maybe use anything else of the other vellum templates or anything in your creativity, in your creative mind, whatever you want, just to kind of make like a little scene, like Scout would say. So that's the challenge.
Scene or not, or like something like this and just do like something cool behind it.
Ooh, that's even cool that they could do like a whole like, wallpaper. Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I'm laying this guy up for the repeat, and it's facing the wrong direction, so I gotta flip it back. So I'm going to mirror it back in this direction, half and half, like this, on this line. And so far, this one's my favorite. So we had one, I've very intentionally not switched, despite the fact that I've wrecked my template, just to show you all the different things you can do with one simple illustration of this flower.
Can I ask, because I know you've done so much, like, you know, in the art world. I was just talking about you to somebody about like, she bakes, she interior decorates, she does this. Yeah. What are some of the practical applications you've had? Maybe they weren't practical, but what are some of the real life applications you've had using this pattern
design? Well, the floor, Melissa's floor is a really good example. I've designed duvet covers. I've designed wallpaper. I've designed fabric that I've sold on different things. Something like this could be a really good background for like if something you've been asked to do something for graphic design, which isn't my graphic illustration. I love doing graphic design where you like lay out text is not my favorite thing to do. But I get asked to do it all the time for family and friends, so I do it. And something like this is a nice background.
All right, well, those are some great ones right there.
Yeah. And I included in art.
Yeah, this is such a great month to learn this. And I don't know if you guys, Allison mentioned it a little bit, but or a couple, what was it, last month, I guess, remember when you told us about your, what did you say, it was a triptych?
We're doing diptychs, yes, diptych.
You have a, what did you say you have at home?
I have what I think is called a quiptych because it's 4.
Right.
I'll get a picture of that before next week.
This is going to be really cool to do in our diptychs, that, like you said, the pattern that goes all the way across. This is going to really pull them together. It's going to make it feel like a one piece of art, which is what that's the goal.
Yes. And so this will be a fun thing to do with that.
You know, another thing I want to point out too that I really like about the pattern that you're doing now is there isn't like, you know, sometimes like with wrapping paper or whatnot, you're cutting it and you realize, oh, there's not a good spot to cut this. Like there's no, like it's all kind of all over the place. I like that kind of pattern.
All right, so let's just kind of go through the ones we've done. We've got the step and repeat. We have the brick, which kind of made these sort of diagonals, which is kind of interesting. We have the standard mirror. We have the step and repeat mirror. I think we're kind of running out of time because I want to kind of show something else, but we could do it with a brick too, right? So we could mirror the brick. So we could set it up like this and then mirror it underneath, or we could mirror these and then offset with a mirror. That's another way to do it. But what I want to show is you can take any of your templates, like say these bears.
We draw a box around it.
And draw a box around it.
Allison's genius.
Yes, you can. We could keep doing this all the different ways and try all the different ways. But that's kind of the rubric for it.
Very cool. Before we say goodbye, though, don't forget, everybody, you're definitely not going to want to miss next couple days, Wednesday, when we're back at it. It's a live painting demonstration of the dogwood. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that ahead of time, before we start on Wednesday, you're going to want to grab your canvas and your transfer paper and your what are those, like a, what is that, what will you give us to sketch it out?
The outline.
Say it again.
Outline, right?
Okay, that's right, yeah. So make sure that's transferred onto your canvas before we start. That'll save you a lot of time.
So just like, and I'm just going to show, I'm not going to transfer it, but just like we did with our Black Eyed Susan, you can set up a step and repeat with the bears. You can mirror the bears. You can mirror offset the bears. And this can be your pattern. So for a kid's room,
actually a really cute one.
Yeah, you've got kids sharing a room, and this could be your curtains. That's
it kind of looks like it reminds me of the Coca-Cola bears.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. And then if you want to go ahead and paint one of these, let's do it with this one. You could have some variation even into what you paint. So this was our mirror, right? So one way to do it would be to have all of the petals.
Oh, then you could even get crazy with the colors.
The same color, right? But you could, unlike every other, right? Do like a crazy flower. All right. So maybe every third flower in this row gets to be blue. And you repeat that.
That's really cool. That's a great, that makes that's a whole different.
Yeah. So many ways. This is why we didn't do the random repeat, because there's all kinds of cool things you can do with it too. But yeah, have fun with surface design. And I can't wait to see what everyone does with it in their journals, post it, show it. You can do it with any of your templates. You can layer, you can combine them, you can do, but that you have a lot. I don't want to say everything new because there's always new stuff you can learn, but there's a lot you can do with just the boxes or the templates
really
you have.
Excited that I haven't done my template challenge, because now I want my template challenge to be this step and repeat pattern.
Yeah, with one of your baby animals.
Yep, so glad, so excited. All right, Al, well, I guess we'll see everybody on Wednesday for paint day when we do the dogwood flower. Caroline had a really great question. She wanted to make sure, because you guys do have two smaller canvases that came in this month's box. Those are for the last project of the month. So for this next project, you're gonna be using the second of the larger canvases, and we'll use those two smaller ones the following week for our diptych.
Diptych challenge, yes, or our diptych final paintings.
Yeah. All right, cool,
All right.
awesome. Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you guys Wednesday.